So I'm going to click go live too, and then I'm going to start the pre-show. Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Happy Sunday.
How is everybody? Hopefully you can see and hear us okay. Let us know in the chat. I see there's already some chatters in here. I'm just going to unmute real quick and make sure.
Sunday.
How is everybody? Nice. I can hear it on YouTube. It's always a good thing. This is a bit impromptu. We decided to do this, a casual stream, what, a day ago? No, less than a day ago.
Last
night. And we put together some a few different graphics and cuts, and 5 out of 5 here, Bob Carpenter says.
Very cool.
That's good. How about anybody in your chat?
I have 5 people right now. Bob and Ashley commented, so audio is good here. Bob says, thank you, Bob.
Nice. And you're seeing Tony in all his glory in high definition video. We're not doing the Zoom. Well, we do have a Zoom call going, but it's not what's going to YouTube. We're actually using the Stream Bridge from Blackmagic Design, but we also might test the Raspberry Pi solution that I've been playing with too. So we'll see. I'm also going to pull up the Tony, if you want to say anything. I'm just going to put the YouTube link into my little chat thing so I can put the graphics up.
Yep. I think we should try out the streaming Pi bridge, because we should talk about that and how it works and see if everybody sees a difference. Right now we're going through the Blackmagic streaming bridge, and then we could switch over. I could change over to send my stream to you via the Pi and see if there's any kind of noticeable difference.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
That would be cool. And this way we could test out the Pi as well, because when we initially played with it last week briefly, one of the concerns I think you mentioned was not knowing if the pie could handle it over time and seeing if it gets heated, heats up too much or whatever, and see if there's any degradation caused by that, if that happens. So be a good test.
Exactly. And by the way, since I talked to you last week about the Pi, I actually upgraded to the Pi 4. The test we were doing before was the 3B Plus.
Okay.
Because I wanted to make sure that I had the latest and greatest. It has a quad core processor. Okay, cool. Here's my chats. So it doesn't actually take as much as you'd think, because it runs Nginx, which is like a web server,
right,
and then it runs like an RTMP package that goes along with it. But it's really not.
What was that?
What'd you say?
That was it OMX player?
Yes,
was
OMX
it?
player. Basically, so you have the Nginx is the web server, then you have the RTMP server that's like a package of part of Nginx, and then the OMX player, the feed arrives to the Pi, but then OMX player takes the feed and plays it out the HDMI port. So it's a little
right.
So okay, let me throw up some chats here. Now that I got my chat where okay, so we have hello from Findlay, Ohio. Our friend Jay Shell. And by the way, I want to talk about Jay Shell just started a YouTube channel. I've been trying to get him to start a YouTube channel. He put out his first video. He's
nice.
a broadcast engineer or IT manager, but also a broadcast guy at a TV station. So the name of his channel is his name there. So go show him some love. We got Unky Joe. It's interesting. It looks like there's a little bit of a almost like an opacity on these that isn't usually there. I'll have to take a look, maybe a brightness thing. Ashley, the lovely wife who, thank you, made our graphic that Tony loves.
I absolutely love it. In fact, I have a couple of notes here on my desktop, and that was one of them, to just give Ashley like super kudos, because that was awesome. Her talent is amazing. Is she a graphics artist?
Not
Joe,
by trade.
She just
she just kind of picked it up, and she's really good at it. We have Photoshop, and she she has like one of those Cricut machines. She designs T-shirts and stuff. So she likes playing with all that type of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, when I woke up this morning and I looked at it in the email, because we talked about just doing a casual chat, like that, and then I saw that and I went, whoa, that's really super cool.
Yeah, we were sitting here last night. We're night owls. Well, at least I am, and then I think I'd pull her in. But I was playing with the different graphics and stuff. We can have the the lower thirds here come on and off. And I'm like, hey, she had her computer. You wanna make a thumbnail? She's like, yeah, sure. And then like 2 hours later, she comes out with that. It's like, I learned 5 new things on how to do it. So
that's awesome. No, she's, like I said to you earlier offline, I'd love to have her redesign my logo for my business. So we'll talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob Carpenter's in the house. Thank you, Bob. I know Bob doesn't get enough thank yous. He's the mod on like basically all of our channels. So thank you, Bob, for always being there. I pinged him last night. I said, Bob, we're going live tomorrow. Don't feel like you have to be there, but we love when you are.
Well, I was figuring it out, because he said to me yesterday that when Willie goes live, it's 6 o'clock for him. So I figured, well, we're going live 2 hours later than Willie, so it's 8 o'clock. He might be there.
Right.
So welcome, Bob.
He's there. Awesome.
Cool.
So Jay says probably not going to be in the chat, but getting ready to move a radio station today. Very cool. Hey, Unky Joe's Playhouse is here. Unky Joe had a great stream yesterday. We love making him put his hats on and off.
Yeah, I love it.
It's awesome.
I saw, so DJ Ware in my chat was responding to our conversation about the Pi, and he says it will do fine for RTMP unless you transcode during the stream. Then it could possibly get a little dicey.
Yes. Yeah, if it's just forwarding packets, basically, it's okay. And actually, Jay. Wow, I'm reading the names here, and I'm saying, "What's your name?" No, I'm just kidding, Tony. If you want to put up a chat here, let's try that. I'll cut over to. There we go. Oh, we got to turn off the. Now let's see if your chat will come up effectively here.
Okay.
It should.
Let's see. There we go.
Nice.
So,
okay.
There's Ashley welcoming DJ Ware. And DJ saying hi to Ashley. Here's the chat I was talking about from DJ Ware about the pie doing fine. And then here, thank you, Ashley. She threw up, not threw up, but put up. She shared Jay's YouTube channel. So thank you for doing that. I'm definitely going to check that out and subscribe because I love that stuff. And let's see what else we got. Bob Carpenter, happy to give back in any way I can for the community. I've learned so much from YouTube. Yeah, Bob, me too. I mean, Willie was talking yesterday briefly about on his stream about the A10 Mini Pro that I had sent to him, and he mentioned that I didn't want any payment, and I don't. And he said mentioned that the videos were, enough payment that I feel that, and it's true because what I said to him offline, and I'll share this publicly, is I've learned so much from Willie as far as what I'm doing right now in the real world as far as installations and setting up some basic networks for my residential customers. Without his YouTube channel, I probably would not have had the courage to venture out on my own because I was in IT in public education, but the last 10 years of my career, I was completely hands off. As I said to Willie, I was basically a suit sitting behind a desk in a fancy office, and I was the guy who did the dog and pony shows to the people who had the purse strings to get them to advance the technology in the district. So while I had a really good understanding of the concepts, I wasn't hands-on for the last 10 years. So to do what I'm doing now out in the real world, even if it is a part-time business, I really do owe it a lot to Willie for that. So that's why I said, what he's given me, I can't put a price on. So here, please accept this. So it's goes a little deeper than what Willie said yesterday. But in any event, yeah. So you could take me off of full screen now, Joe. I'll shut my chat off.
You don't like having your face full screen, Tony?
No, not really.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I'll echo that too with Willie. Yeah, I completely agree. All those, like when I first got introduced to the Edge router and stuff, it was all Willie Howe before he even had the microphones. He was just doing whiteboarding and stuff. So
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So let's see. Transmitter. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say to everybody, just do us a favor and hit that like button. Yes. This way YouTube knows what we're doing. They know you like what we're doing. It just helps us out. Helps both of us. So appreciate that.
Made a fancy graphic for that one too.
Joe, you are so fancy. I love it. We both got the A10 Extremes at the same time, and you have just gone leaps and bounds. I've barely had time to play with it, and you are doing all this fancy stuff. But I love it because I don't have to worry about it then.
Yeah. So see, there you go. This is broadcast and video production stuff is kind of my hobby / passion outside of the tech stuff. For those who don't know.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, so it was mine as a child. As a kid, I wanted to grow up to be a cameraman in a TV studio. I just thought that was the absolute bomb as a kid. Of course, then life took over, and you have to go to school, got to get an education, got to go out and earn money in the real world, and so much for that passion. But now I'm getting to play with it a little bit in the second chapter.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
so yeah.
We have a chat on Signal, and we're always amazed that Tony's retired, but he's busier than a lot of people who are working full time, who are in the middle of their career. So it's great. It's great. Keeps you young, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So 5 out of 5. Sound is great. Video is great. We have Jay's YouTube. Okay, so we have Norman Robinson. Greetings from the Bermuda Islands. Nice. Have you been to Bermuda, Tony?
Wow. I have, but many, many, many moons ago, not recently. Yes. Beautiful place. Would love to go back.
Yeah, it is. It is.
There's a lot of places I would like to go.
I know, seriously. Well, hopefully we're getting.
One.
Yeah.
Uncle Joe's pool. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think he's gonna need to let out some of the water, so when we're all in there, we don't, the water doesn't just pour over the side.
Yeah, I mean the weather's getting nicer here. I know in North Carolina we've had now I think we've made the turn. The last week and a half we've had mid 70s to upper 70s, sunny, blue skies. Yesterday was a little rainy. Today's a little overcast, but yeah, I think we've made that turn into nicer weather now.
Yeah.
So let us know where you guys are and what your weather's like, and just be interested.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely. Yeah, say hello in the chat. Let us know. Like the stream. Absolutely. So let's see. That was Bermuda. Ferris Mustafa says, "Hi, Joe and Tony. Good morning. Good morning, Ferris.
Good morning, Ferris.
Intermit Tech. Hey, Quindor, live from the Netherlands. I need another cup of coffee."
Yeah, Quindor, what time is it right now in the Netherlands by you? Let us know.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. That's right. We both have Patreons now. So you got your Patreon set up recently, Tony. And I noticed you started.
Yes.
In fact, you inspired me to post a picture on my Patreon yesterday because I saw you posted something.
I wondered about that. But yeah. Right now it's just very simple. There's 3 tiers, and it'll just get you a different level of acknowledgement at the end of the video, whether it's a scrolling or just a static page or a verbal shout out. But I want to do, I want to start thinking about ideas for doing more stuff. It's just time, it's, so I thought at least if I start posting some pictures of some behind the scenes stuff, that'll be, and that's just going to be for all the tiers. I'm not going to worry about, oh, this tier has to get it. That, no, just everybody will see what I'm doing when I do.
No, that's good. I like, the little bit of behind the scenes, give people, it's the big thing with Patreon. I feel like if somebody's going to support the channel, I want to give some sort of extra added value. And I think you have the same mindset there.
Bob says in my chat, Patreon pasting wars. Pasting wars? Pasting wars? I'm not
Ashley's
sure.
probably posting. He's
Pasting.
probably, everybody's pasting and posting.
So. Oh, by the way, and thank you, Ashley, for offering to moderate my chat today. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's been some randos who are joining a lot of the tech live streams lately. If you were watching Willie's yesterday, they and I've seen it on a few others, and they're just obviously, don't have anything better to do than write random stuff on people's streams. So the moderators are kind of an important thing these days.
It's funny. I agree 100%, and I don't get it sometimes. Like, why? Like, I mean, I was totally blown away when we were talking in the group chat about the what do they call that?
Swatting.
What you guys refer to it as a streaming range?
Oh, the streaming raid. Yeah. Yep.
And then I just never. I must live under a bubble because I just was blown away when you guys were explaining to me what that was.
It came out of a lot of the game streamers, like on Twitch and stuff. That's where, because a lot of them have 1 million people subscribed and all that. Like, whereas a lot of our stuff is kind of smaller potatoes. But yeah, that's where a lot of that came out of.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny too because it's that kind of negativity in the community that makes you. Well, I'm not going to say makes everyone, but makes me wonder sometimes, why am I doing this? Because I just want to give back because I love this. I love tech. I love AV, and it's just a passion, and it's an opportunity to give back to the community. I'm not an expert. Don't profess to be. I just if I learn something, I think it's cool. I'm thinking, well, there's got to be somebody else out there that thinks it's cool. So not coming from an expert standpoint, just a sharing standpoint, right? And you and I have had this conversation offline quite a bit about just hurtful type comments and sometimes there's comments that make me really question, like, why keep going? But then I'm not going to succumb to that, because then they win. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and enjoying what I'm doing. And who wants to watch watches, right? And who doesn't? But don't be hurtful about it. You know, if you don't like what I'm doing, or you don't like my channel, or you don't like the way I look, whatever, just go away. But don't have to come. There was that one person I told you that was so hurtful. Like, I was like, wow. And kind of why I feel this way about live streaming. Yeah, I don't do it regularly, well, as much as you guys do on a schedule, because sometimes I don't always feel like I have anything worthwhile talking about. But, you know, like doing a chat with you like this, I love this because it gives me an opportunity to get out there and do it live. But because every once in a while you get that really serious hater, it almost makes me feel like everybody's out to get me. So, like, why would I go live and put myself out there? But then, you know, you'll do a video, or you get a couple of comments come in saying, hey man, thanks so much, you have no idea how you helped me. And then it kind of negates that stupid mental feeling you get about. So you got to, like, learn in this medium, when you're putting yourself out there, to, like, let it roll. Because as long as you know what you're doing is a good thing, and you're doing it for the right reasons, that's all that matters.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because
So
yeah, some people just, like, I think it's probably some sort of you know, mental thing with them. You know, and they basically want to make you feel bad to make themselves feel better. So it's
yeah.
yeah. Hey, question from Norman. Curious how difficult are work opportunities for a certified Cisco CCNP in the USA? IT jobs are basically they're probably one of the best industries to be in over here. I know just from, you know, where I work with Amazon Web Services. I mean, not necessarily Cisco CCNP where I am. It's more the cloud stuff, but I have not heard of any IT people who can't get a job right now. It's just it's in high demand. So so if you're planning to move to the U.S., you probably have. I mean, nothing's guaranteed, right? They want to know experience, what you've done, and all that. But if you have some of that and you have some certs, I think you'd be in good shape. I don't know, Tony. Do you have an opinion on that?
I can't speak so much about, you know, corporate, because I was in public education, but I can tell you that the need for IT, you know, IT help, whether they're techs, network administrators, whatever, in public education, there definitely is a need. The pay sometimes isn't going to be as great as it would be in corporate. And the other thing too is, while certifications are nice to have in public education, it's not really all that necessary to have your Cisco certs in this. I mean, so it's a different world, but there's, I agree with you, there's definitely jobs out there.
Good industry to be in. Hey, Peter Christensen, thanks for joining. Question from Andy Trest. Are you as anti-UI as Willie seems to be? I value your opinion as I build my home network. You want to take that one first?
Yeah, no, I do want to take that, because I've stayed pretty quiet and I've stayed pretty neutral with this whole thing as of late. Because listen, I'm still using Ubiquity. I'm currently doing 2 projects right now, but one's residential and one's church based, and I went Ubiquity 100% of the way for several reasons. I mean, one, right, the stuff works, and I've said this to you, Joe, over and over offline. I mean, regardless of what's going on with the business model and all that stuff, the gear works. I've got probably 30 plus residential networks out there. Some are going on 4 years at this point, and I haven't had a single callback. And being a one-man part-time business, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, they just work. I keep them updated. I will run the software updates and stuff like that, but as far as any problems or anything being problematic, I can't say I've had any. You know, this church project, I want to give it over to them. And one of the reasons why I went Ubiquity there is Unify, is because they have several volunteers that are tech savvy parishioners, and once the project is done, I want to hand it to them. So I'll sit with their guys and I'll give them an overview of the UI and say, okay, now this baby is yours. So, yes, our breach is going to happen. They're going to happen no matter what the company, who the company is. It's like, how does the company respond? But to turn around and say, I'm going to rip out all my stuff at this point, no, I'm not going to do that. In my new home, we haven't broken ground yet, but I'm going to be, planning out the network there. And I'm seriously going to look at putting in the Grandstream access points, because I've been testing and playing with them, and they are fantastic. I mean, they're awesome. And some of the testing that I've done, they've outperformed my Ubiquity devices. But I'm probably still going to stay with the Ubiquity Unify switch line. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not abandoning Ubiquity in my new home because of what's happened. I'm considering Grandstream because so far from what I've seen, I really like them, and I'm getting better performance out of the testing. So there's my take on it.
No, I think it's a good take. And I mean, I think it depends what you're using it for. Like, I think Willie and like Tom Lawrence and some of these guys are doing it on probably definitely a much bigger scale than me. I mean, you actually are going out into the community and doing this stuff. I'm more of a home networking guy, and then my day job is in cloud. So for me, I'm more limited in my interaction with it to my stuff and my side projects. But I think it has a place in the market. I hope that they really, the thing that's hit me is firmware, where firmware gets released and boom, it kills things. So I just hopefully they can start cleaning some of that stuff up. But I have a guy that I work with who went Ubiquity for his church, like spent like $5,000, bought a whole bunch of access points, a whole bunch of exactly for the reason you were talking about, Tony, where it's the people who are running it like are tech savvy enough, but they're not into VLANs, and they're not into PF Sense type level stuff, right, where they need to go in and do load balancing or anything crazy. They just want to be able to have like a fancy dashboard that looks pretty and works. So I think there's a market for it. I guess as far as like the enterprise space and I don't know. That's a whole different ball game, because when you have guys like Willie and Tom Lawrence or others who are making their living on installing this stuff, and then a company makes kind of rash decisions or doesn't communicate, that can really hurt. So I think that's the real issue. The products themselves, I think, work well. I mean, I haven't had especially the edge hopefully the edge routers. And Tony actually sent me an edge switch, which I have yet to plug in, but I'm going to be playing with that too, because I've never actually played with the edge switch. So
that was on my list of things to ask you today. So,
sorry, I stole it.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I agree, Joe. There's a use case that you have to consider, and you're right. Willie's at this full time, Tom's at this full time. Others are at this full time. I'm not, right? I'm at this part time. It's a passion, and I need simplicity, right? When I'm dealing with consumers in a residential space, I can't be putting in an open sense on a protect lead, then using a Netgear switch and a Grandstream access point. I need something that is simple enough to, if I'm not going to manage it for them to manage
single
themselves.
pane of glass type of deal. Yep.
I have not found an alternative. So Ubiquity for me is still, in those use cases, the best way to go.
Exactly.
So I hope we answered your viewer's question.
I think we did. We're probably pretty behind in the chat, so maybe I'll go through these kind of quickly here. And then so Bob says, did we get Unky Joe on Signal? I haven't seen him yet, but we're trying. We may have to send a carrier pigeon or a singing telegram, but we're gonna get him there.
I don't know, Unky Joe. If you don't come on Signal, I don't know if we're going to come swim in your pool.
That's right, and right, and we're sterile, just like what you were talking about yesterday.
I don't know about that, but
66 right now. Cold front came through. Man, it was warm down there in Texas before. It's 17-16 in Netherlands, or it was. Wow, that was 15 minutes ago. Man, we're way behind.
Wow. Thank you, Quinn.
Yes, thank you. Unky Unky Joe is saying he was a little slow on the uptake with the signal. And he's talking about himself in the third person, which is always funny. We'll get him on there. We'll get him on. It's terrible here in Bermuda. The ladies keep going to the beach. Very fit. Sorry to hear it, Orville. That sounds like a tough life. Okay. Don't feed the trolls. Don't lean into them. No, we gotta. That's why you're here, Bob. You're gonna get rid of our trolls for us. Thank you, Unky Joe. Yes, hit the like button if you would. Still use Ubiquiti APs, MikroTik switches, and PFSense. I'm Network Switzerland. But yeah, you're definitely Bob. You are way above average of the average technical person, I'll have to say. If you live within Ubiquiti's walled garden, it's not a terrible place to be. But once you need something outside the garden, it's a big leap. Yes, that's a good way to look at it. Yep. Okay, I think I got through my chats. I know we
don't switch me up. Don't switch me over, Joe, because I don't have a lot. I'll just read the three or four that came in. So Ashley's thanking me and giving me the thumbs up for thanking her. Bob Carpenter, again, don't feed the trolls. Don't lean into them. Unky Joe says, ignore the haters. Smiley face. Hit the like button. And then Unky Joe says, I still use Ubiquiti. Tony is right. It just works. So yeah, there you go.
Exactly. Awesome.
So I want to ask you, did you see Willie's most recent video on that web power switch?
I did. I'm glad I watched it before you said that.
I have it. I have it here. I'm gonna bring it up for a second if that's okay.
Oh yeah. Here, I'll put you full screen. Oops.
Okay.
Take away the names.
So for those of you who haven't seen his video, not to spoil it, but go check it out because he definitely, gave a nice overview of it. And this is it, the Web Power Switch Pro model at $169, and it's got the 8 managed ports and the 2 unmanaged, and really cool concept. So go check it out. At first I was like, well, what's the difference between that and like a Cyber Power smart UPS, but it's got some really neat features. I don't know if you I feel like now I have to get one.
I know. Well, that's the problem with you guys is you do all these fancy things. I know that I do the same to you, but you should.
All right. Take me off screen. There we go. Thank you. No, I mean, the thing is, I love the fact of you can remotely turn on and off the ports, right? The power ports. But I mean, everything else that Willie was saying it can do, like scripting and ping and this and that. And I was like, wow, like with everything going on in the world and everything going on in my life right now, I'm just happy to have something on in that rack that's going to protect the equipment. Like, and I don't know that I can get that deep into a power switch, but I like it. Like, you know what I mean? I like it enough to want it, but like, I guess, again, going back to what we said before, in certain situations and use cases, all those functions, all that functionality is probably huge to someone.
Well, the thing that really sold me on that was the fact that it will ping. It can ping a device, and if the device stops responding at that interval, it'll automatically reboot it.
Right.
That's freaking cool.
Well, that's awesome.
That's freaking cool.
That is.
Especially like, I don't know about you, Tony, but we used to have some random old piece of hardware that's sitting in a rack that like we can't get rid of because it runs some special thing, but the thing is always going down and needing rebooting, and it's 45 minutes away in a data center. It's like, just put the damn thing on there and let it run, and somebody calls up and says, why isn't this working? Okay, send a command over, because I was thinking, well, yeah, why not just have a Wemo switch or something like that? And then I saw all those additional things, and the fact that like from a you're not going to just throw a random Wemo switch on a customer's network, right? Like, or maybe it will. Right. But, so anyway,
right. So it's funny that you say that. Anyway, I just wanted to have a little conversation on that because I think it's really cool, that thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And for the price point, yeah, I think that's that's on my bucket list. But you mentioned the smart switch, the Wemo switches. I never really had a chance to thank you for sending me this, Joe, the Philips Hue starter kit.
You're welcome.
I have not had a chance to open it up and even play with it. I've not used Philips Hue. I know it's one of the leaders in that industry as far as lighting and smart lighting and stuff. But right now, like in the studio here, everything is on a smart plug, a ATEM, my cameras. I have a smart outlet strip, and then when I my lights, everything. I just come in and hit a button and everything goes on. So, for this use case, that's good. But like you're right, a more mission critical place, it requires more than just smart technology.
Well, Tony's building a new house. I'm curious if you're going to have the pot lights or anything that those will work in. Hopefully, you will.
Yeah, and that's exactly my thought. I was thinking, you know what, I wish I had a camera like you did, where I can just pan around and show everybody like the behind the scenes in the studio. I am in this little small space, which is doing a great job for me, but I have crap everywhere. I got boxes of Ubiquiti gear here that I have to configure for a network. Right here, I have all that Grandstream stuff and 3 phones plugged in and a printer and another computer. It's like I'm running out of space. I got all the church equipment over here off screen. It's like crazy. So, yeah, I just don't have any room for anything more to do right now. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to put the Philips Hue kit on on the side for now and play with it when I get into the new studio.
No rush at all. Hopefully... Yeah, I'm imagining you probably are excited to be in the new space. And are you you putting some extra circuits and some extra, category cables in the studio? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Dedicated circuits and some extra, plenty of lines.
Nice. Awesome.
So, yeah.
Kara King, I am studying CCNA. What is your advice to me? My advice to you, well, first of all, I'm not a CCNA, so I probably am not the best person to ask, but I've studied for certs, and reading it in the book is one thing, doing it is another. So I would suggest get yourself like a lab setup if you haven't already. There's a lot of stuff you can get for used or cheap, and actually practice subnetting, VLANs, the basics of the networking, and because that's where you get the concepts. Tony, any thoughts there?
Yeah, 100%, Joe. I'm just going to echo your words because I can't really add to it. You said it perfectly. And again, I've been out of that circuit for 5 years now, so I'm not really the right guy to give any more advice than what you just gave about trying to get a lab setup going and exploring and playing. So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And studying, obviously.
Yeah, well, right. Tony's a former educator, so he believes in studying for sure. Actually, once an educator, always an educator, right?
I have to comment on that, though, real quick. I love how Ashley catches me in what looks like I'm doing a teachable moment or a teaching moment when she captures those screenshots for the thumbnails. And like when she put together the promotional video, the trailer for the Tech Quartet, and she caught me saying, "And do your homework." That just cracked me up. And like even this thumbnail just now that we put out today, it's like she caught me doing something like, I don't know what I was doing, but I said, I guess I was trying to make a point there. She has a knack for catching me in teachable moments.
Well, there's a couple from yesterday's Unky stream yesterday that I'm definitely grabbing. There were some funny comments. I forget what they were, but I put a bookmark in it that if we ever, if we're doing promotional stuff, I'm going to go back to that stream because there was some good stuff in there too.
So Bob Carpenter says in my comments, Hue, H-U-E, is great. It's even better when you connect it to Home Assistant.
Yeah, I haven't played with that Home Assistant, but I know it's popping up. In fact, Bob pinged me yesterday, and Linus Tech Tips did a video. I guess I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I would like to get. I got into the Hue and the Sonos and the Echo stuff like when it first came out and got the whole house set up, and we've been using it ever since. But then I kind of fell out of the home automation stuff. I don't know. I guess maybe I started too early. There were some limitations back then, but Alonzo says hard to switch out tech. Yes, I think that was in relation to the UI stuff. Thank you, Norman, for liking the stream. Alonzo says, I went from Unify, TP-Link, Fiberstore, Total Unify. Unify got me twice leaving. Interesting. Curious what happened. Was it the firmware?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask why.
Yeah.
Elaborate if he wants to.
Okay, I think we did that one. Unky Joe says, off topic, I got my property tax appraisal. They went up on my value by $10,000 in 1 year. I think I will be protesting this one. Uh-oh. Is it the pool?
You know, there's good and bad about
Oh,
that.
it is. It's the damn pool, he says.
So, yeah. I mean, again, in one respect, your taxes go up, but in the same respect, it's good for resale in the future. So
that's true.
You know, it's a catch-22.
Norman says, do they have a rack mount version of that switch? The surge strip thing.
I don't know. Let me look that up and see what I can figure out if you want to.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah, Bob just sent me a screenshot of his setup. He's probably got like 6 computers and screens going, modding on all of our stuff. Let's see. Bob says Fiberstore switches look very kludgy. OS like a clone of something. Juniper, Cisco. I use their DACs though. Come to Vancouver. Those increments tend to be with an extra 0 on the end. Well, yeah, Canada for sure. Canada for sure. Yep, we talked about that one. One problem with the switch, powering on a remote PC often requires someone to also press a power button, but combine it with a wall. I could see it working. What's a wall? WOL? Never seen that acronym.
I don't know. I didn't see anything on Amazon as far as a rack mount version. I mean, I didn't go digging into the actual manufacturer's website, but if there was a rack mount, I would think Amazon would have it.
Oh, Wake on Land.
But
Wake on Land. Sorry. Yeah, no. Sorry, Tony. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw it next to the
No, that's okay.
Yeah, they're talking about the Switch.
Yeah.
You can get Cisco gear for cheap on eBay. Research the iOS for the features. Yes. Just make sure when you get the Cisco gear that it's, licensing is always the thing with Cisco. So sometimes you can get a brick that doesn't do anything unless it's got, you have to buy a license for it or it comes with a license or whatever. So, were you going to say something, Tony?
No,
okay.
Go ahead.
Quindor at Intermittent Tech, by the way, go check out Quindor's channel and Unky Joe's channel. Both great YouTube channels. Linus is so behind. My whole house runs on Home Assistant with my custom LED system natively tied into Home Assistant 2. Yeah, so Quindor basically is an LED master. I mean, he like not just like, the Hue LEDs you buy in Best Buy. We're talking he can make his own, like he sells his own box that will allow you to control your LEDs in your house and stuff. So go check that out because he's like, Bob, you probably would really like that stuff because Bob Carpenter is deep into that. Alonzo says, yes, the Unify firmware, the cloud account was locked out of my UDM Pro. The wife lost a day of work. Ooh. See, that's the problem. I mean, obviously I work in cloud, but for my network, I like having local access. I don't know about you, Tony, but.
Yeah, I prefer it. 100%.
Yep.
So.
Do you have comments? I know I keep going through here. But.
No. I don't have a lot of viewers. I have right now just 5 viewers, so I'm not getting a lot of activity on the chat, which is okay. It's cool. I wanted to ask
go
you,
ahead.
Joe, though, your Synology versus Unraid video. I know you were saying you were having some issues yesterday, I think in one of the streams with your Unraid. So how's that coming along, or have you not started working on it yet? What's the scoop with that?
So I've run. So Synology sent me the DS1821 Plus. Super simple to set. Excuse me, to set up. Super simple to get going. It's been running sort of on my lab network, and I've been playing with it. Haven't run into any problems. I've never had a Synology before, so I see the benefit of, it's super simple. I did the Unraid thing, the Unraid build for servers from scratch with AMD and B450 motherboard, blah blah blah, because I was like, oh, this is cool. It was a cool project, but I shouldn't have used AMD because I would not recommend anybody using AMD with Unraid. Hopefully that gets resolved someday, but I've had a lot of issues. Bob's helped me a lot with that, but yeah, since I upgraded to 6.9.2, I did the upgrade. It said it needed to reboot. I rebooted it, and I haven't been able to get to it ever since. I did a hard reboot on the button. I can't get to it over the web. I can't. My shares aren't there, so it's not like the. I have an open share on my network, so it would show up even if it was on a different IP in my network. So I have to plug a monitor into it today, into the actual Unraid PC, to see what the heck is going on. So, yeah, I just would recommend not using AMD if you're. It's a great interface. There's the community applications piece is awesome, but the video that I'm going to do, which is hopefully in the next couple of weeks, comparing the two, there are some benefits, of being on the Unraid thing. I think it's probably a somewhat unfair comparison to the fact that I built it in the way I did. But I think a lot of people probably will, because AMD, it's one of the two major brands of chips, right? So, but the Synology stuff is just so darn simple. The UI is simple. It's like, I would imagine most people who are looking for a NAS don't want to tinker as much as I'm tinkering with the Unraid stuff, So,
Right.
I mean, has that been your experience? It's just simplicity.
Well, yeah, I said I like simplicity, and yeah, I mean, just out of the box, the Synology is, just nice nice user interface and simple. If I could set it up, pretty much anybody can.
No, you don't give yourself enough credit.
But I just wanted to comment what you mentioned about the AMD processor. I mean, that's too bad that you went that far to only find out like that there was no base or benchmark that, but then again, how do you find out those things unless you try?
Yeah, and I almost wish that there was like a disclaimer or something, because it's not clear that it really doesn't work well. Like it sort of works, I wish there was a disclaimer that said like, hey, we fully support Intel, we sort of support AMD, use at your own risk. Right. And then I would have said, okay, I'll just get an Intel, but I didn't find that type of documentation, but I could have just missed it too. So.
Well, here's a positive takeaway, right? So you just set the baseline for others who want to venture into building their own Unraid, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So WAL is Wake on LAN, special broadcast packet that includes the MAC address of the device. Modern switches block them. I've heard Wake on LAN, but I've never played with it, so that's interesting that it sends us a broadcast packet. Oh yeah, Sunky Joe is selling his DS918 Plus on eBay. And what did he say? I think he's called Guido Joe SI or something, SR or something like that. Yeah, and go subscribe to his channel. And there's Quindor's happy face. Norman Robinson, Cisco gear requires a SmartNet warranty to ensure proper support, etc. You'll have very empty pockets if you go the Cisco way via eBay. Yeah.
And I'm nodding my head because that was the deal. That's what we were up against back, again, when I was working in public education. And the budgeting each year and putting the, making sure the money was aside for just that was extreme. So happy to not be doing that anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. John
So-
Gonzalez, welcome to the stream. Says upgraded to Unraid 6.9.2 with the 3470 and am having trouble with it. Interesting. So maybe it is not just localized to me. Bob says I think it's using AMD retail CPUs as servers. I don't think that AMD desktop BIOS is mature enough. Servers and workstations seem very powerful. And that sort of goes in line with what Quindor is saying at Instrument Tech. Odd, my two main servers are AMD Ryzen, zero issues. I do only run Proxmox, though. Oh, yeah, my Proxmox really hasn't had any issues. Of course, I'm not running AMD. Yeah, and Unky Joe says, keep us posted on what happened. When I had similar issues, it turned out that my USB key got corrupted. Yeah, Bob mentioned that yesterday, and I'm hoping that's not it. Diamond Hood Gem, welcome to the stream. Hey, Mac Telecom. Cody, we apologize for overlapping your stream. We didn't even realize that till after we decided on this time that worked for both of us. We usually watch your stream on Sundays, so hopefully your stream went well.
I guess. And isn't Aaron Parecki up today at 1 o'clock?
Oh, yes. And in fact, that's probably a good thing to talk about of how I even know how to do some of this stuff. Is I know Tony likes the video production too. We were talking about that earlier, right? And there's a few YouTubers talk about you like. We're on YouTube and we practice what we preach, right? We go and watch other YouTubers to learn. So all this production stuff, there's like 3 or 4 YouTubers, Aaron Parecki, Photo Joseph, John Barker with Here to Record, and Doug Johnson Productions, who are excellent YouTubers if you're interested in like the A10 Mini, A10 Mini Extreme, all the sort of stuff about video production. And these guys do it every day. So Aaron Parecki actually built his own stand for the A10 Mini Extreme ISO, and the Raspberry Pi RTMP server that I built, I used his video. So if you are interested in and what that actually is, if you wanted someone like using OBS, you don't have to have an ATEM, using OBS to be able to stream to you as a source in OBS, and then you design the framing in OBS, and then you send it out to YouTube. You can do that with a whatever $50. I guess they're a little bit more expensive now. Thank you. You can do that with a Raspberry Pi. So definitely check out Aaron Parecki and his video on the Pi. If you just type in, we'll probably throw it in the chat or something. But if you just type in Aaron Parecki Raspberry Pi, you'll see. It's called, I think, setting up my own stream deck. So sorry, Tony, you said one word and I went on a rant there.
No, that's good, right? We said casual conversation. That's what it's about. Speaking of that, do you want to try switching over? You want me to stop my stream and switch over to the Pi and turn stream on again and see what happens?
Yes.
This way we could see.
Yes. Let me get ready for that, because to put you into. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? All right, I'm going to come to my camera full screen.
Okay.
Turn off the graphics. And then, Tony, go ahead and switch. So we're going to put Tony on mute. Go ahead. They can't hear you, but I can. Take the ATEM off air. He's going to stop streaming to the Stream Deck, Blackmagic Stream Deck, and he's going to start streaming to the Pi. And I'm going to see him pop up here in a second on my window, and then I will cut him in, assuming it all works. We haven't tested this. We're doing it live. In fact, I'll just cut over to the Pi so you can see. So this is what shows on the screen when it's not receiving a signal. And then it should just pop up. You getting a blinking red light? Possibly. So how this works, yeah, it's all XML. They cannot hear you yet. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, why don't we switch back to stream on the Stream Deck again, and then I'll check the XML file. So we'll cut back here. We'll cut over to this, and then there's Tony.
There we go.
Okay, so Tony, you should be back on. So yeah,
Yep.
So these ATEMs take what's called an XML file for how they get their streaming information. So Tony's streaming to me, and then I had to do a port forward, etc. So let me take a look. In fact, Tony, do you have? Why don't I put you up full screen and I'll play with that real quick?
Okay. Go ahead. It worked. It did work last week when we tested it. Of course, I'm using a different XML file. Joe sent me a new one this morning, but it did work, and we're hopefully we can still do that for you guys today. Because I'm curious to see if you see a difference in the quality of the stream from the streaming bridge going over to the Pi. So we'll see. But anyway, hopefully we'll get this. Up and running. I know, Joe. Everything that you guys are seeing here today, trust me, I have not really had a part in other than sending him the stream. All the magic he's making happen between all the gear he's got in his studio and how he sends it out to AWS to get it to multicast live on both channels. So yeah. So if he says he figures it out, he'll send me a new XML file and we'll get it rolling. So.
Yeah, it looks like I figured it out. So
cool.
I'm actually. Should I put it in Signal for you, Tony, or what's the?
No, just drop it in an email. It's quick. It's easier.
Email. Yeah, this is a quite in-depth. I'm actually using all 8 inputs, Tony, on my ATEM Extreme. All 8.
Yeah, I don't. I have 3 going, and you have 8. I mean, really?
Yep. Okay,
all right.
So here's the. Here's the new. Let me make sure I hit save.
Joe, give it a different name.
Oh,
just
good point.
To play it safe. Just name it differently.
That's a good point. That is a good point. What do you got going on the rest of the day, Tony? You doing more jobs? You've been doing all kinds of jobs.
Yeah, I'm taking it easy today. When I leave the studio, I'm driving back down to the beach, going to meet up with my wife, and we are going to take the dogs for a walk on the beach.
Nice.
Yeah. Hang in there with us, guys. We'll get this going.
All right, so I'm going to call the file new Joe Trelli Pi. We'll save that, and then we're going to copy it to email. Hopefully, did I just send it to the right place? Okay, yeah, I should be there now. I know you missed seeing my face, but it's back. More coffee. Unky Joe's getting more coffee.
Because I hated seeing my face up there, so thank you.
Yeah, I'll go through a couple of comments while you pull that up.
All right.
Sell your gear on Reddit. I stopped selling any. How do you do that on Reddit? I've never sold anything on Reddit. That's pretty cool. I mean, I use Reddit, but... Oops. Almost tipped over my coffee. There are a lot of apps and devices that create... Got it.
All right, I'm going away, Joe. I'm going to do the switch.
So, let's see. Here, we'll go over here. So, Mac Telecom stream crash. That's no fun. We got to get you. We got to get you with an ATEM, Cody. We got to get you set up with an ATEM. Have any of the school districts within your experience built a Microsoft CSV clustered storage volume solution within their data center implementation to provide a large resilient storage network? I'm not sure. The ones that I work with or have worked with have been using cloud solutions, Storage Gateway, and some other similar things. But that's an interesting question. When Tony comes back, we can ask him too. Stream died hard. That's no fun. You have good internet too. Let's see. I run an ASRock B450M Pro with 3600X and never had any issues with my Unraid. It has the latest BIOS update on it. So maybe it's just some random... I see you. There, I'm going to cut to you full screen first. Let me just go. Okay, so now you should be live. Wow, that looks pretty darn good.
So this is going over the Pi.
Yeah, so it's definitely, it looks like it's a little bit more delayed. I guess, yeah, I'm curious how much more delayed, if it's, we're just so everybody knows, Tony and I are on a Zoom call as a back channel. So we can hear each other in near real time, because there's some delay no matter what you do. When you're sending whatever we're sending, you're probably sending me, 12 or 9 megabits per second video. Tony is streaming to me from his ATEM, and then I'm taking that in as an input on my ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, and then I'm mixing that and sending it out to Media Live, and then yeah, it goes all over, and then over to YouTube. So, and I'll talk about more about that in a second. Let me change the two up, Tony, so I can put it side by side. So we're using Super Source, because that's one of the cool benefits of this new ATEM Mini. Sweet. Yes. There we go. One Super Source, correct. Oh, you're frozen on the Pi. Interesting. So I think. Oh no, you're back.
Joe,
you're back.
On what
are you streaming at? What bit rate?
On the ATEM Mini, the Extremes that we have, it's only got one Super Source, right?
Yeah, you're.
Okay, so you can't have multiple layouts. It's one. You could change them.
Yeah, you're pretty far behind.
But like this layout that you're using for Super Source now, I see that.
Well,
this is why we're.
I've noticed over the stream, Tony's stream
is
quite a bit ahead of yours. Oh, that's a different problem.
On the ATEM, hold on. It says 5.5. Let me look at what I'm sending on
I think that's the whole stream is ahead, not specifically your feed to me.
I'm streaming on high. Yeah, maybe I should stop the stream and lower that.
We'll probably have to go back and look and see what this looks like after the stream. Maybe we should go back to the streaming bridge, just because I have a feeling this is probably a less quality experience than the streaming bridge, but it's good to test. Yeah, I mean, okay, sounds good. So yeah, let us know, was Tony, his picture, was it way far behind me? Yeah, I'm curious if what that looked like, because that was him coming through on the Raspberry Pi instead of. Sorry? No, I muted you. I can still hear you, Tony, but they can't. It takes a little bit of time to turn off the stream sometimes. So let me take a look at. I'm gonna put some comments while you're doing that, Tony. Yeah, I see you in the streaming bridge. How are things being done right now? Yeah, so let me talk through that once I let me just pull Tony back into the 2-up. Okay. All right, so we'll cut to that. So, here's what we're doing. I know I've kind of flown through this. We're basically Tony streams to me using the Blackmagic streaming bridge. The Blackmagic streaming bridge is accepting an RTMP stream from Tony's A10 Mini Extreme. So instead of Tony, like normally when Tony goes live, he's streaming directly to YouTube. Instead, he's streaming to me. So he's streaming from North Carolina to Connecticut. So my download in my internet is pulling down whatever he's sending. What's your what internet are you sending? What streaming bitrate are you sending me?
6.5.
6.5. Okay. So he's sending me 6.5, 6 megabits per second to Connecticut. Then I take him in as an input. So he's actually camera 7 as I'm looking at it. He's camera 7. I'm pulling him in. In fact, he just kind of broke up for a second there. I wonder. Yeah, it's not a perfect science, right? Because we're both on. Well, at least I'm on cable internet. I'd love to get some fiber in here. I don't, do you have fiber internet there, Tony?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
But anyway, so then I mix him in, and then I send that out to AWS Elemental Media Live. Think of it as it's doing the job of Restream. So what Restream would be, right? So where you can go to different places. So I'm going into Media Live, and then it's broadcasting out to both of our channels. Ashley's telling me Tony is a little bit choppy. Are you getting any cache issues on your ATEM?
Now it says full, cache full, and now it's flipping 40%, 50%. It wasn't prior to loading that XML file, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it should have anything to do with it, but you could just reboot it.
I'm gonna go off air again real quick, and I'm gonna remove the imported XML files.
Okay.
And then come back on.
All
and
right,
see
I'm
what
gonna
happens.
just cut away from you. So anyway, I'll keep talking about this. So in theory, what you could do, the idea is that if you were going to use a medium like Zoom, right, and you like what we've done in the past when we did the Tech Quartet, we just brought everybody into Zoom, and then there's a button in Zoom that says stream out to YouTube, and that's a simpler way. However, you're limited because that's a WebRTC type of. It's a lot simpler. You could use something like StreamYard, another great solution, and that's all virtual, so people all join. It's sort of like Zoom, but instead it's more geared toward this type of streaming. But all of those suffer quality. So the idea with this setup is I can actually pull Tony in HD quality. So Tony's sending me 1080p 30 frames per second at 6 megabits bitrate. And then we're going out to YouTube in that. So it looks like Tony, well, unless Tony's, frozen, it looks like Tony is, right next to me. So that's the benefit of it. So if I had multiple streaming bridges sitting here, I could actually take in everybody who has an ATEM. So the problem is you have to have an ATEM with the streaming bridge, unless you do some hacky stuff that Jay Shell will tell you about. But so the Raspberry Pi sort of bridges the gap where you can have somebody from like OBS or vMix or one of those stream to the Raspberry Pi. And Tony, I am seeing your picture now. Yes.
The chat name.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just turned you on audio here, so people didn't hear that. Ashley, if you could take a look at Tony's chat, it looks like there's some folks who need to get banned. I haven't seen the chat, but so Tony, I'm gonna put you back up on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, and you should be on audio, and it's looking good now. I don't see any choppiness. So I think maybe, I don't know if it was the XML file. It may just have been the thing is getting confused. I don't know. It could have been the XML file.
Maybe. I mean, I didn't reboot the device. I simply just went in and removed the imported settings. So
I'm getting some weird noises through my headphones here. Hopefully that's not coming through this stream.
Simply just went in and removed the imported.
Oh no. Okay, it was just coming through Zoom. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I didn't reboot the ATEM. I just removed the imported stream settings and then just re-imported the streaming bridge again, the XML file. So it seems to have taken care of the problem. And thank you, Ashley, for taking care of the problem in the chat. Ninja Grasshopper says it looks and sounds good.
Oh, good. Excellent. Sorry, I'm fumfering here. My headset, my AirPods just went nuts. Can you still hear me okay, Tony?
I can, but a couple of times during the stream, they were breaking up. And I know it wasn't going out to the stream. It's just what I was hearing. But they were breaking up almost like you were on a phone call, you know, on cellular. So
I think I have too much wireless around here, and these AirPods probably are getting confused. I probably need to get like a more of a low profile pair of headphones for this, because the big ones are just too bulky and heavy to use. I like yours. I love those Sonys.
Oh, they're awesome.
Okay, let me zip through the chat. I know we've sort of neglected the chat. More coffee, yes. There's too much blood in my caffeine stream. Ashley says, anybody working on tech projects? Yes, if anybody's working on tech projects, please throw them in the chat. We love talking about tech projects. So now within a week, you need 16-port ATEM. Guess they need to make one or allow you to pair two of them together. Yeah, I think the next step is to get one of those ATEMs with SDI connections on them. Netherlands represent. We love the Netherlands. Thank you all. Norman Robinson, which streaming platform are you using? Also, have you ever used vMix 24 streaming suite and the NDI protocol as a possible choice for your setup? So I've played with vMix a bit. I haven't used it in like any sort of production work. It's very cool. I still am partial to hardware encoders. Just that I like physical buttons and I like doing the encoding, but I would absolutely use vMix for certain applications. And NDI, for those who don't know, is sort of like video over the network, to put it simply. There's a company called New Tech who's licensed or created it, and then the challenge is they have not like open source that protocol. So if you want to build NDI, which I didn't realize until recently, if you want to put NDI into your stuff to be able to use that networked video, you actually have to get the license from them to do it. I don't know if you have how much you have to pay or if you have to pay or whatever, but it's not like it's a thing that's just like a standard that's a global standard. It's actually one company who's licensing it. So I like NDI, but that sort of worries me, because then you have to if you buy a bunch of PTZ cameras that are NDI, and then New Tech decides to not allow licensing anymore, and I don't know. I like open standards. Have you played with NDI at all, Tony?
I have not, but you know who is big into that? Lon Seidman, Lon TV. His whole studio and his whole production setup was all NDI. I know recently he's just getting involved with the ATEMs, but yeah, he was big on NDI. No, I have not played with that.
Gotcha.
And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, the two don't integrate, right? Like using NDI converters within it with the ATEM stuff, doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, there's challenges with that. Yeah, I saw Aaron Parecki's thing. I haven't done much of it, but yeah, I think there's some ways you can get around it, but by the time you buy all the equipment you would need, it just doesn't make sense to do it.
Yeah.
So your audio is a little out of sync in the Zoom call, but I'm wondering. I think it's probably just the Zoom call. So if you hear it on YouTube is out of sync, let us know with your lips. I mean, like lip sync. Okay.
Uncle Joe
says,
Uncle Joe.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Unky Joe just wrote, I keep switching between the streams and feel like deja vu. Deja vu.
I wonder if did I forget to turn on the no, I'm on low latency, and you did you do ultra low latency or low latency?
Low latency.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So there are issues going on with YouTube right now, Mac Telecom says, and that's maybe why his stream dropped out. Well, maybe that's part of our problem here. Microsoft and resilient, 2 words I don't usually associate together. Unky Joe says, building VM images for my lab videos. Can't wait to see those. One big problem with eBay now is they require access to a checking account to sell something. Time to call the bank and set up a secondary checking account. Yeah, I hate giving out my checking account. And they take a big chunk of fees.
Oh, that's the one you read before.
There's quite a bit of oh, right. Okay. Whole stream correct. Sorry. Tony seemed glitchy. Yeah, we rebooted. Using Python Soda is going to be more delayed for sure. Yeah, it's definitely more delayed. I guess we'll have to go back, and I'm curious if you guys saw how, is it unusable delay? You know, where he's reacting way after. That's kind of the key. And I wonder if, for those situations... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Tony.
I was going to say, that's what we were hoping to test today and find out, see what the difference was.
Well, the other thought about it is, part of it is because I'm in the stream, but if I had 4 guests and I was just mixing the show here, and all 4 guests were on the pies at the same sort of delay, it probably wouldn't be a problem. But the fact that I'm coming in nearly real time into my switcher, you're coming in 4 seconds later into my switcher.
Right.
I can't account for that. But if you and Willie were coming in and Unky were coming in 4 seconds, and you booted me out of the tech quartet, then that would make sense. Same thing goes for using OBS Studio instead of an ATEM, right? Watching a cell phone, join Joe's YouTube channel. Tell Tony as a troll in the chat. Yes, I think we got rid of that troll, right?
Yeah. That's been, a lot of that stuff's been going on this weekend. Wow.
I know. The trolls are out to get us in the tech community.
So Matthew P. Simon says, no, it's not unusable. I'm not sure which conversation he's commenting on. Michael Berg says, wake on land. I almost feel like my chat was behind and is now catching up. And then Matthew P. Simon says, it seems fine now. So
okay. Yeah, well, Tony, you rebooted your ATEM, right?
I did not reboot the ATEM. I just removed the stream import, the XML files, and then reloaded the streaming bridge.
Oh, okay. So maybe it is. Maybe I screwed up your Netherlands. You're both loud and clear. We're making it all the way to the Netherlands, Tony.
That's awesome.
I actually got him. Got the troll. Audio and video looks good on my cell. Much improved on video from Tony, but audio for us has never been problematic. Right, yeah, the audio through Zoom is totally fine. It's really the video. WebRTC video is just limit. You can't. There's just a certain limitation to that. Looks and sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matthew P. Simon is saying what I'm seeing on YouTube is okay.
Excellent. Yeah, I know we keep asking about this, but part of this stream was to do some testing. So you're kind of getting a behind the scenes look at what we wanted to test. We figure why do this in a bubble? We might as well just do it live, right? So
exactly.
Intermittent Tech says, is the overlays also a feature of the ATEM? No. Well, I shouldn't say no. The chroma key, you have 4 upstream keyers, so you could do the chroma key, you can do 2 downstream keyers and super source inside the ATEM. But what I'm doing is there's an app called H2R Graphics, which is a free app created by a guy named John Barker, who also has a YouTube channel, Here to Record. In fact, he's closer to you than he is to me. I think he's over in Sweden, but he's an Irish guy. But anyway, he created this program called H2R Graphics, which is awesome. You just drop, you put your YouTube link in into the app, and then you can just click on the chats, and it puts it over a green chroma key, and then I'm chroma keying that over in the ATEM over top of our stream. And there's a bunch of things you could do. Like you can do a ticker, you can do a logo, you can do a countdown, lower thirds, images. So check out H2R Graphics if you're interested in putting this on your own stream. And I know, Tony, you use Aaron Parecki's, right? You use a different one?
I'm using Aaron's plugin, his Chrome plugin.
And there was a reason why you liked that one better, right? For your use?
Just simplicity again. I love the here to record stuff, but that just means another computer and another software, and I'm old. And remember, it's a lot of stuff here to manage, and I'm just keeping my head above water with what I have. So if I brought in another laptop and started running the here to record software to do all the fancy stuff you're doing, I would definitely be lost. Like
your head would explode
during a stream. Yeah, my head would explode, and I don't stream. I don't stream regularly. Like to me, when I stream, it's a bonus. It's fun. It's something different than just doing a recorded video. So I guess if I was doing it, oh thanks. I guess if I was doing it like you guys were regularly, weekly, maybe I would look into doing that. But what I'm doing right now, that Parecki chat overlay works perfectly.
Bob says you're assuming everyone knows what chroma key is as I talk about this. It's chroma key it's a particular color of green that doesn't typically it's like a lime, almost like a lime green, and it doesn't typically show up in people's clothing, I guess.
Well, it could be blue. It could be anything. It could be a blue back. You can chroma key out pretty much any color.
You can.
I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, the easiest way to explain it is just when you watch your local news and you see the weathermen, and they're up there with all the maps behind them pointing to the weather, the forecast, and you see like a little. Sometimes if they don't have a good key going on, you see like a little highlight outline around them, or their hair is green, because they didn't key out all the background color. So they're just basically standing in front of a green screen, a green or a blue, whatever. Could be a painted wall, it could be material. And so, I mean, that's the easiest way to explain it. And then the keying out process is trying to match that color green to the green that's behind them to tell the whatever device, whether it's a program or software or hardware keyer, to match that color and pull it out. Right? So you're overlaying the person on top of a background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a great explanation. What I was just the reason why green is more common and it's just like lime green is because like the history of it is they were trying to find a color that is not a typical color in clothing, because what happens is if you were wearing chroma green and you're keying out chroma green, then you'll actually have transparent parts of the talent's body. So you want to make sure that whatever, if they are wearing chroma green, that you definitely are not using green, you're using blue or something else. But yeah, so there's green behind those overlays. What'd you say?
Yeah, the concept behind doing the Invisible Man stuff, right?
Exactly.
I mean, think about it. So.
Right. They actually on Amazon you can actually buy a full chroma green color suit, like a spandex suit. So we should get that, Tony, and like just our heads will be on screen. Yeah.
Just bounce us around. You could put me on your lap and I could do a ventriloquist that.
Jay said,
just don't make me say stupid things. That's all.
I will.
I know you will.
Jay says vMix is awesome. Used it last night to do a football game. I had issues with NDI where some of the devices were using an older SDK and wouldn't talk correctly. Interesting. Not being an OBS user at all, does OBS have any hardware support for encoding like NVENC? Yes, it does. and actually it works very well. When I was doing my 4K streams, that's what I was using with my 2080 Super graphics card. Worked great. Looking at getting started with Home Assistant should be fun. Yes, Mac Telecom Networks, Cody. Definitely interested. Hey, and you could use that that hue I sent you too. I sent you and Tony a hue. Yep. Works with NBank. Highly recommend Node Red for HA. Home Assistant as say I think high availability when I read HA, and I have to translate.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Let's see. Norman says there's a company out of Australia which produces an awesome NDI to SDI converter, which is solid. Bird Dog is the device consider reviewing. That should work with the A10 product line. I've seen the Bird Dog. Is that the one that Aaron tried with that stream and he was having an issue? I don't remember.
I think so,
one.
And that
it was that one.
That's definitely I couldn't think of the name, but that's definitely what Lon uses. The Bird Dog.
Bird Dog, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Then it was very comical when Aaron Parecki's the one I keep saying Aaron. So I'll have to check that out though, because I am interested in NDI. I think the concept of video over network is probably the future. I just don't know that NDI specifically is that. You're both looking real time, even with lip sync from Tony. Voice is great. Nice. Tony's always screwing with me. Tickers left to bounce. Green screen. I have one, barely use it. We got to get you. Or is that triggers? Okay, I made it through all my chats here for the time being.
Very
Do you
cool.
have any chats you want to share?
You don't have to put me full screen, but Michael Simpson's talking about the stream looking fine. What he sees on YouTube is okay. Michael Berg says Tony is better now. Oh, no, sorry, guys. I'm just super tired. It's been a long week. Let's see. Michael, thanks, Michael. Oh, I said, yeah, I thought the PI XML file possibly messed up, confused the ATEM, deleted it, reloaded the streaming bridge file. All seems fine. Cody says, all right, got both streams up now. Thanks, Cody. David G, hey, everyone. And Matthew Simpson, good explanation of that. I think he's referring to the green stream. And I think I lost Joe.
No, I'm here. I just
there he is.
I was getting set up to show something.
Cool. You know how I feel about full screen, Joe.
So Tony, I haven't told you I even own this thing. So you're going to be hearing this for the first time too. So let me make sure I switch to the right camera here.
Is it something else that's going to cost me money?
I don't think you even really need this, Tony. This is more for my craziness here. Okay. So this thing is from Teradek, is the brand. And it's called the Video X. If I could pull it a little. I always get confused of which way I'm going here. It's got a little screen on it. It's got a 1/4-20 to go on a tripod. SD card, right? USB. And you're probably thinking, what the heck is this thing? This is a hardware encoder, video encoder, that can stream out to locations. So you say, well, you have a ATEM that does that. Why would you need this? So this thing actually does cellular bonding. And what cellular bonding is means you can plug in a USB modem. So like, for example, a cellular modem into here. You can plug in another network into the Ethernet jack here. And you can connect this to Wi-Fi. So you could have 3 internet connections. And if you use the Teradek, what's called ShareLink, it will take all those 3 connections and it will bond them together and it'll match the video. So I assume it probably adds some sort of timecode metadata or headers to the video, matches it, and then through their share link you can actually send it to wherever you want. You could send it to multiple locations, etc. So, and they do charge you for that. It's actually not crazy bad depending on what you're doing. So this isn't really for the YouTube channel. This is for our streaming that we do kind of on the side, because oftentimes, in fact, it seems like almost every stream we do, people are doing it in the middle of nowhere, or the Wi-Fi's bad, or the internet's bad, and we're trying to keep a stream up with different connectivity issues. I did some testing on this. It's pretty incredible because you can just drop one network, drop another network, and it doesn't drop the stream. It just keeps the stream going. It's pretty wild. So it's expensive. It's like, this is the cheaper one of them. This thing's like $700. I wouldn't buy it if I didn't have a way to make the money back doing some streaming, because it's pretty expensive for an encoder. I can basically get an A10 Mini Pro for the same, actually less than this. So I wouldn't buy it just as an encoder, but for the purpose of doing the bonding. So my workflow will be, I'll have the A10 Mini Extreme going to AWS as stream number 1. Stream number 2 will come from this. If the ATEM goes down, which is on the main network, this will have 3 different cellular connections connected to it: a Verizon, an AT&T, and probably I'm going to do a T-Mobile. So I'll actually have 3 different towers that are bonded together. So I should basically be able to lose 1 or 2 networks live and not have a single blip in the stream. So
that's awesome. Wow.
Pretty neat, right?
That is awesome. That is freaking awesome. Yeah. But for what you're doing, right? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
For your business, yeah, totally.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so. And part of it is I had 2 ATEM Mini Pros, and the first ATEM Mini Pro I would send, and then on the main network, and the second ATEM Mini Pro I would send using a cellular network, and they would fail over to each other. But it wasn't an exact science. Like, you might get a blip, or you might, and it was, you really couldn't get more than one cellular network plugged in at one time. It was a big pain. So I sold one of my ATEM Mini Pros, and I was deciding whether I wanted to get the new Blackmagic Web Presenter. It's like a $500 encoder, and it's really nice. But I ended up saying, why should I get another of the same sort of thing? I should get something that I could do this bonded. And I know that Jay Shell, you probably do the bonded. There's a couple. There's really Live, and then the letter U, and Teradek are sort of the 2 major players, and they make ones that are like $6,000-$7,000 that have like a bunch of connections that you would use on a much more professional level. This is sort of their entry level version for, people like me who are doing it regularly, but kind of as a side thing, not as every single day. I'm not streaming games to like production networks like Jay is. So anyway, going on and on about it because I get excited, but
yeah, but I love the form factor on that. That, I mean, for you being mobile, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Not having to carry around the 2 ATEMs, whatever, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, and it has an SD card slot you can record to. You can record whatever's going out to it. Sorry,
awesome.
Tom.
No, that's okay. Speaking of tiny form factor, one of the things I wanted to ask you was about that Lenovo Tiny that you showed the other night.
Yes.
Keep your mind out of the gutter, Joe. Come on.
Do your homework.
Is that... never mind. Okay. Over my... Whew.
No, my mind was in the gutter. Don't worry.
Okay. What was that? Squirrel. Oh yeah, like Uncle Joe says. Anyway, the Lenovo Tiny, you're using it today, correct?
Yes.
For the stream?
Yes. The Lenovo Tiny is running the green screen or the chat overlays, and I have Zoom running on a monitor right in front of me.
This is the first time you're using it in a stream live like this?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that device is neat. When I saw it the other night, I was like, again, here we go, more money. But because I had the same thought that somebody else had in the chat, and they asked it and I didn't, and that was probably would make a good machine for serving up like Proxmox with the 2 hard drives, etc. Like to virtualize. And I thought about it. I didn't ask that question, and I'm glad the viewer did, because that was my exact thought. Because again, I want to get my feet wet with that a little bit, because I don't do any virtualization at all. Don't have a need for it. For me, it would be more like a home lab fun setup. And I saw that little form factor, and I was like thinking the same thing. Like, wow, that would be cool, especially since space is prime real estate right now is at a prime for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I got it, because I really want to mount this, be able to take it with me on a job and mount it inside of a portable rack. So, and it's, unless it gets going, the fan is basically silent, and even when the fan gets going, like it's on right now because it's running a lot of things, I'm sure you probably can't hear it. So, the virtualization stuff, Bob could, I'm sure, tell you. Bob works for Lenovo, but the thermals, like when I was doing the testing with the Cinebench, it's not really made for high performance compute. So I guess it depends on what you're going to be doing with it, Tony. But if it's just for a lab to test things, I mean, it'd be perfect. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, for me, it'd be more the educational experience of it than worrying about spinning up virtual machines for any type of production stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's very well built. It's metal housing. It's awesome.
Hey, I wanted to mention to you, I shared Aaron's Pi Bridge video in my chat, and I sent you the link to the video in the Zoom chat if you want to share it with your YouTube chat followers.
Yes, let me do that right now. Thanks for sending that. I have so many screens and monitors around me that I know it looks like my eyes are darting around and I'm not paying attention. It's because I literally have 5 screens here. Oh, you know what? I can't copy that to... It's in your chat. Ashley, would you mind just copying it from Tony's chat and put it into my chat? Because this computer isn't logged into the YouTube. My other Mac is. Oh, Ashley already did it. Thank you. She just did it now.
That's awesome.
All right.
So interesting, something that I just came across 2 days ago, and that's the YouTube short. Not that I came across the YouTube shorts, I was aware of it, but I haven't really done any YouTube shorts until Friday. Right?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because now I'm looking at it and I'm going, wow, YouTube shorts. I have 248 views on a YouTube short that I released Friday afternoon at 4:30, right? And a video that I released yesterday has 139 views, right? Now here, think about this for a second. YouTube shorts, I'm going around like this with my phone for 15 seconds, trying to just get a little blurb of information out there. Press upload, give it a title, press upload, and boom, I'm done. I put a 14-minute video together, right? And 5 hours later, from start to finish, right, I get 139 views. Like, I'm scratching my head saying, something's wrong here. Like, yeah, I might as well just do YouTube shorts and forget doing videos. I mean, really, when you think about the amount of work that goes into doing a video from start to finish, including the upload to YouTube and all that keyword stuff and title stuff, and then you think about just passing your phone for 15 seconds and it's like, boom, 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 the hits are coming in. It's just like, doesn't add up, doesn't make sense. But
it really doesn't. Yeah, and I know Willie's been on TikTok, and actually so is Cody, and talking about it in their streams, they're getting 15,000, 20,000 views on a 30-second thing on TikTok, which is basically the same thing. It's a short, quick hit. So I guess maybe that's where things are going. I mean, it's kind of hard to do. I guess it depends on what it is, right? Because if you're looking for a tutorial, I feel like a lot of people use our channels like they use this and abuse us and leave, right? They're just looking for a tutorial on how to do something. They don't, like, a lot of my views come from non-subscribers, probably you too.
Yeah, me too.
It's not like a vlogging channel or something where people they're not just randomly watching us, right? They're looking for something on how to do something. So anyway, I have not done the shorts yet, but go ahead. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't think I was going to do the shorts. It's like I didn't give it any pre-thought or anything. It was just, I think I posted a picture of the gear that came in for that project on Instagram the other day. And Cody, in fact, was like, cool, I'd like to see, hope to see some follow-up pics or progression pics or something like that, whatever. And when I was working on Friday a little bit, I was thinking like, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to document this process as far as doing a video, like an on-site video. But how could I accomplish like keeping people up with what's going on without actually doing the video stuff? And I said, wow, YouTube short, snippet information, boom, here's what we're doing today, here's what we got done today, stuff like that. So that will work out well for that use case. So
well, I wonder does it make sense. The problem I have is by the way, we both have Instagrams, Cajoling Tech and Quick Tech Solutions, if you do have Instagram. But part of my thing is diversifying. Like, I'm concerned, like, yes, it's great that YouTube's doing it, but part of it is I want to try to get people over to Instagram to show the behind the scenes and onto Patreon. Like we did the so I don't know. I guess you have to just be on everything.
Yeah. So Bob Carpenter says here, hard to learn a lot in 15 seconds, though. Also, people can consume 40 to 40 15-second views in 10 minutes, though. Yeah, and it's not only hard to learn a lot in 15 seconds, it's hard to record and get your message out in 15 seconds. I can't tell you, one of the shorts, it took me 5 tries to get it, because like I kept running out of time and I wasn't done saying what I wanted to say. So it's like, yeah, but you get, like anything else, you get accustomed to it and you just try to prioritize and sort out and just get the message out short and concise.
Yeah.
So, and Mac Telecom Networks says, I love watching the shorts. I like on-site job videos and the shorts are great for that. Yeah, and that's exactly right.
Yeah, I agree. Norman says vMix supports MIDI mixer controller into a TV switcher. This way you have all the buttons and knobs for less than $100. Yeah, and also the Stream Deck, which I am using a Stream Deck with a companion. I know that works too. And I think X panel. There's another set of panels that I'm looking at, but yeah, I'll have to check. I'll have to do more with vMix. I saw the subscription price and I don't know. I'm sick of subscriptions. We just moved to from LiveView to Dejero. Never heard of, or Dejero. The Dejero units can automatically change the delay based on the bandwidth available. Interesting. Well, I'm still within my return period of this Tear Deck, so maybe I'll have to take a look at that. Although you're in kind of like the real broadcast world, so it might be out of my price range. Yes, hit the like button. Thank you. Use Stream Deck. Had issues with our Bird Dog because this version did not match version of our production software. Bob says you can get up to Core i9 CPUs in the Tinies, but they get loud. At that point, it's for performance, not silence. Yeah, and I feel like if you're going to go that high end, I guess you better have a very specific need to have a small form factor, because you could probably do something a lot more interesting with a full-size PC at that point. So, Ashley posted the video. Norman Roberts says, cool. However, I found the Stream Deck is nice, but more expensive and doesn't support knobs and sliders for audio control transitions. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that MIDI control. Cody says TikTok is insane. Yep, we got that one on X keys. That's what it's called. Yes, X keys. Okay, I got through the chat again. I always feel good when I get through the chat, Tony. There was something else I was going to show you. What the heck was it? Get your mind out of the gutter, Tony. Oh, man. Oh, the other thing, Tony, is I am recording this locally from the ATEM, and I'm recording each of my 8 inputs onto an SSD drive.
Nice.
So...
And are you actually going to take the time and edit it together?
Probably not. I it's a test mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I could, but quite honestly, our live, whoops, hit the wrong one. Our live output is probably what I would edit anyway. You know what I mean? I guess I could clean up a few transitions and things, or take a few things out, like when we were fumfering around with the Pi. But something like this, it's probably more interesting to just leave it live.
Gotcha.
Let's see.
Cool.
Gotta go now. Gotta laminate and cut out a bunch of guest Wi-Fi vouchers. Oh, have you ever used those in? And thank you, Diamond Hood Gem. Use those in Unify. You can do that voucher thing.
I played with it about 2 years ago when I was playing with the captive portal back then. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. You could vary the time. You could, it's a whole bunch of stuff. Haven't used it recently, and I'm sure now if I dive into it, it's going to be completely different. But I'll know because I'm going to be setting up that UDM Pro for that church. And one of the things they want is, as he put it in his end goal, is a Starbucks-like guest experience for the congregation. Because I guess when they're in service, they live stream the service, especially with the pandemic and stuff. But then when the parishioners are actually there live, they're in the sanctuary and they're pulling down the readings and all the scriptures and stuff like that onto mobile devices. So he wants all the parishioners to be able to sign on to a portal that welcomes them to the church page, accept the terms and agreements, yada, yada, yada. So I'll be letting you know how that goes in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm just thinking.
In fact,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was thinking you could, if you hosted like a local WordPress site that was only on the network, and then you embedded some sort of video player into it. I guess it doesn't even have to be on the network. I don't know. I'm just thinking like if there's close-up shots, like video shots of the I don't know, is it minister or whatever, depending on the denomination. But somebody wanted, if all the way at the back of the church, you could actually watch. And I guess everybody would have their head down in their phones, though. That's probably not the ideal scenario for a church. But
yeah, no, they're not. It's not so that they're watching the live stream if they're physically there. They're watching the live stream if they're at home. They're watching they have another room. I don't know what they have a word for it. I call it the banquet room, where they have a big screen TV set up, and so for the overflow that can't fit in the actual sanctuary during a live service, they go to the banquet hall and watch the live stream of the service. So on the big screen, what they're using their phones for is pulling. Remember back when we were kids, if you went to a service, you had in the pew, you'd pull up the booklet and you'd follow along. Yeah, that's what they're pulling down on their mobile devices.
Got it. Okay.
So, yeah, it's actually a neat setup. In fact, we're just talking to them on Friday at the end of the day, and see what everything I'm doing with that project is pro bono. The only thing, and the electrician that I'm working with that's helping me, he's doing it all pro bono too. So all the labor is like no cost to them. The only thing they've paid for so far is the networking gear and supplies, right? So, and they're using an old server. They got this beast of a server for live streaming, and they're doing it through OBS. So one of the conversations I had with him on Friday, one of the guys in that tech committee, was, you know what? You guys are saving a ton of money between not paying me for labor and not paying and design and setup and not paying the electrician for his time and labor. Take some of that savings and go out and get yourself an ATEM.
Yeah.
And get some updated live streaming equipment. I mean, because they're live streaming through security cams, and they got this big, ugly point tilt zoom camera in the back of the church in the sanctuary, right, to scan just the back of the people, the audience and stuff. And I don't know too much about how to bring security cams into OBS, like you do and Unky Joe does, but I said, go out and get yourself some go get 4 new cameras, get an Extreme or whatever, and utilize some of that savings and put it to good use. So hopefully, he asked me to send him a bunch of information on it, which I did. So keeping my fingers crossed. I might turn them on to you. I might point them your way as far as getting that whole streaming thing going, because that's above my pay grade as far as how to make that all work. So.
Yeah, I'm happy to have a conversation. And I mean, you bring up an interesting point, or at least to me, it's interesting. But the fact that even when things kind of get back to normal, I have a feeling that a lot of this live streaming is sticking around. Because if, there's people, I'm sure there's like elderly parishioners and things who maybe can't get out and can't get in, who would want to watch, like, so that, their family can put it up on a TV screen or whatever, even somebody who's just not feeling good that day, but wants to watch, so.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, think about the people who, what do they call them? Destination weddings or something like that?
Yep.
Where they fly like a certain amount of guests in the bridal party and everything to an island, and they get married. And well, what about everybody else back in wherever that want to, now they could be part of the wedding, and they're even streaming funerals these days online. So yeah, I think you're right.
I specialize in that. My funeralstreams.com. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm hoping that our little side gig streaming will fly us for free around the world to stream from destinations. That sounds like a good thing.
So yeah, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, there's a few other chats here. I had a couple more questions. Do you have a hard stop at all, or I know we've been going forever, but this has been fun.
I know. I'm surprised we've been going this long, and we still have people watching.
I know. What's wrong with you people? Let's see. Had customers make a portable DR server clusters out of tiny server clusters and suitcase. Oh, that's pretty cool. Out of those. By the way, we're talking about Lenovo ThinkCenter Tinies. They're different versions, like M70. I'm sure Bob can put them in the chat. But Jay Shell, by the way, if you missed the beginning of the stream, Jay Shell is a longtime viewer of all of our channels, and just started a YouTube channel named Jay Shell. And he's saying he uploaded a short, working on today. Figured I'd give it a try. Oh, this is a good one for you, Tony. Are there many opportunities within the USA for the education departments, or is this usually considered a closed category?
Okay, so let me preface this by saying I've been out of that circuit for 5 years, right? So I'm not going to talk in the now, I'm going to talk in the past. I can't speak to experience currently, but there's a need, yet it's closed at the same time, if that makes sense, right? And it all comes down to the dollars. So school districts in general in education usually need more tech assistance than their budget allows them to have. So in that respect, there's the need, but it can't be supported financially. And that's where it becomes closed, because the dollars are limited, and the people who have the jobs, unless they move on to something bigger and better, are pretty much, well, from what I found from my experience in my local area back then, which was New Jersey, stay. If you got a good working environment and you got, nice people to work with and a decent salary, and what's on in the technology in that particular school district, then you're not going anywhere unless you've got an offer that you can't refuse. So yes, there's a need, but yes, it's closed at the same time. So so does it make it hard to come by? Then I guess it would make it a little challenging. But again, that's going back to at least 5 years. I can't speak for now.
Good answer. Jay says streaming is here to stay for sure. Oh, here's the different versions of the Tinies that they were using. There's also, I think, what do I have, Bob? I think it's the M720. Norman also says, how open are many customers to work with a small startup consulting operation? Do they consider it a risk assessed operation or just want to work done correctly? It's an interesting question. Well, I mean, you're kind of a small startup consulting operation. I think, I don't know. My opinion on it is it depends on the customer. Like if you go to enterprise customers want a big company to blame. You know, they're not going to typically hire the one man show. At least in my experience, you know, they're going to want a company that if something goes wrong, there's a big enough insurance policy that that they can, you know, they can make a case. Again, if it's just a one man show, what are they going to do? You know, there's really no recourse, and they're also concerned that the one or two person show, I should say, that it's fly by night. We call, you know, so hey, maybe they're out of business. They're in business today. They get paid and they're out of business tomorrow. So ongoing support. So I think in the enterprise stuff, it's a little bit more difficult to get in, but small business is small business. I think there's plenty of market out there because the small business doesn't have the funds to pay some of these like big, you know, companies out there. And that's Tony, have you found, because you've been getting a ton of work lately and you're really a one-man band.
Yeah. A lot of my work is word of mouth though, and recommendations and referrals, but yeah, I'm not sure, Joe. I don't really have an answer for that.
Ferris, thank you. Hit the like button for Joe and Tony. Appreciate it. Yes, we're having a great time.
Thank you, Ferris.
What do you think of the MikroTik CRS? Can't remember 309 switches. Never used them. Are those the 10 gig switches? I don't know off the top of my head which ones those are. M75. Yeah, I think it was the M75. Small to mid-sized business, there's a ton of work for. Yeah, so Cody's still here from Mac Telecom. He's up in Canada doing a ton of those side work too. SMBs for the win. Churches, engineering firm. That's right. Unky Joe has those engineers too.
You know what I find, Joe, with that is, yeah, there is a lot of work depending on what your niche is. And like a lot of the work that I get, because I'm the small guy, I mean like real small, when you say small business, like microscopic, I will do the things that like the bigger, more established companies don't want to be bothered with. You know, the job is too small for them, but yet the job needs to be done. So I fill that niche, you know, so I don't have a problem at this point still going into somebody's house and cleaning up a virus, or their printer can't print and they don't know what to do. You know, they're consumers, and my clientele is elder. Okay. So they're buying into their retirement homes and things like that. And, you know, so they didn't grow up with the technology. So as something as simple as the printer went offline and they can't get it to print, right? Those are the kind of niches I fill. In addition to doing some of the networking and stuff that I do, I'm still doing like just general tech support, you know, for this target audience. So,
well, you hit the nail on the head. Find a niche, right? If you're the same as everybody else out there, then you might have a problem. But if you can solve a problem that's in a niche, then you're probably in a better shape. And it was the 10 gig switch, by the way, and Bob actually owns that. So there you go. And I trust Bob's opinion for sure. So I guess we're coming up on 2 hours, Tony. I don't know how much longer we should go. I mean, maybe one last question here. I know Aaron Parecki's coming on, and I have to go pre-order my stand for my A10 Mini Extreme.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew it. I'm not doing that. I have a nice little setup here where I have two monitors, one on top of the other, using monitor arms, and the Extreme fits at the bottom base of the bottom monitor perfectly. So if I prop it up, then I'll be blocking my monitor. So this works.
I don't blame you. I want to be able to get it off the table when I do remote stuff versus
Right.
now. I guess my last question to you is so if you haven't checked out Tony's recent video on the Grandstream phone system he's playing with, how, any other insights other than your video? I'm pretty impressed by it. I used to work on enterprise phone systems, and it's like coming close to that level as far as functionality and features.
Yeah, I mean, everything is like right here to my left because I'm going to be coming in to the studio tomorrow to edit the second video in the series. And I wasn't thinking of it as a series, but it really is. I like what Unky Joe said yesterday about just kind of doing it as a learn as you go, because that's really what I'm doing. I'm learning Grandstream as I go. So yeah, so tomorrow I got to just edit. I recorded my second video, which is going to be talking about, okay, so now we got the unit set up. We went through the setup wizard and we did the high level overview. Now the next step for me, as far as I'm concerned, is getting phones registered and provisioned to the system, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that, 3 different things, 3 different ways. And then after that, the most logical linear sequence for me would be, okay, you could make, by the time you go through that video, you can make your call-to-call, extension to extension calls internal, right? So what's the next step then? Branching it out and opening it up to the world. So that's going to be probably another video on setting up the trunks and the inbound and outbound routes. And then after that, probably looking at an IVR, setting up the IVR menu and so I have things up here that I want to put in the pipeline as far as putting something together. But then again, if you're looking for very specific things, I'm going to say this, I'll say it again, you got to go to Willie's channel for that stuff, because he's like probably, I think he said he's the only Grandstream certified expert in the United States. So, I mean, if you're really looking for the deep down and dirty about the under the hood stuff, I mean, he did a video on extensions on the UCM 6202. In fact, I referenced it in the video that I'm going to be editing tomorrow. He went into a 35-minute deep dive on every possible option that you could do with the extensions. And like some of the stuff I was going like scratching my head, like there's no way ever that I'm going to utilize any of that stuff, but it's all there, so really good stuff. And I love so far I'm loving the UI. It's just, again, remember what I said earlier about simplicity and I jive, and that UI for me is just so user friendly. And I'm coming off of the other current PBX that I'm using, which I'll remain nameless. It's like night and day for me. It's like the other one, it was like, wow, you have to have a college degree to just get through the interface and do a module update.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, so I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. I see that. Whoops, let's turn that off. I see that Unky Joe had to take off. Thanks, Unky Joe, for coming by. We'll probably be wrapping up in a minute here. Do you have? I have a few more questions that have come up in the chat. Do you have any that you want to share, and we can start wrapping it up?
No, my chat's been pretty quiet, so I'm good.
Okay. People aren't used to you going live. Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
No, I appreciate this, Joe. I really do. It's kind of fun, kind of cool.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome. So let's see. Norman says, do the SMBs consider the Microsoft 365 cloud solutions like PBX, VDI, and Office a product of serious interest? Oh, I think I saw it. Sorry, I meant to be more specifically Microsoft 365 Teams PBX direct routing solution. I come across that all the time in my day job because we offer a SIP trunking solution, and there's a lot of people who are taking advantage of it because actually Teams allows you to bring your own SIP trunk now, which is pretty cool. So you don't have to use, they offer a solution where you can use their trunking, but you can bring your own trunk. So yeah, it's pretty, I would say, pretty prevalent, that people are doing that. I mean, it depends on the shop, right? There's telecom, I think, is still one of those pieces of IT that has not modernized to its full potential yet. There's a lot of people out there with an old PBX sitting in the, an old Nortel, Mytel, Yourtel PBX sitting in a data closet, and they've moved everything else to the cloud and or whatever, and they're saying, oh, I don't want to touch that thing. Whoops, I hit the microphone. I don't want to touch that thing because only, John Smith knows how to make it work, So there's a lot of that. So you'd be surprised if you saw how many big companies are still in that situation.
Yeah. And from my experience, the few small businesses that I work with, and again, I'm going to preface that they're boutiques and small retail shops and things like that, they don't normally have an on-site tech person. So they tend to, the ones that I deal with directly, they tend to not want an on-site, on-premise PBX, right? They would be much more happier to have a hosted solution and just have the VoIP phones plug into the network, grab that IP, and they're up and running. And when there's a problem, they call the hosting provider.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the way it's going, for sure. Bob says when you walk into a place that has Nortel stuff as the reception phones, turn around and leave. they're likely still on Novell and Token Ring. That's funny. So, okay. Well, I think we're ready to. Any last comments or questions or anything, Tony, that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, no, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today and taking 2 hours out of their time to listen to us. So I appreciate that. So,
yeah, no, this was a really good time.
We got to get that Pi working though, because and that was the Pi 4, right? So the Pi 3
yes.
Plus that we tested last week actually worked a little better.
Well, I'm not even sure it didn't work, because the feedback in the chat was that it was working great. I just don't know how big. So I guess I'll have to go back and watch the stream. I think we can get it working. While we were sitting here, I was thinking how I could get myself delayed. And I think I could probably use my other A10 Mini Pro and do it. It's just a little bit convoluted, but we can make it work. We'll for sure, because we definitely want to get Willian and Unky Joe and kind of bring back the Tech Quartet and even expand it further.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everybody. Yeah. So, and thank you, Joe, and thank Ashley for not only doing that wonderful graphic. I will be in touch with you guys this week so that we can set up a brainstorming session for my new logo. I'm excited about that. And I want to thank her for moderating my chat today. I appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you, wife. Ashley's the wife. Appreciate you doing everything and keeping me on my diet too. And yeah, thank you all of you. We thank everybody for watching, for liking the stream, sharing our videos. That's what keeps us going on here. And also, follow us on Instagram. Take a look at our Patreon. On my channel, we do a Zoom call every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern after the Thursday streams we typically do. And even if you are a $1 a month patron, you get to go on those. Sometimes Tony shows up, Willie shows up, Bunky Joe's on every week because it's a good time slot for him. When we have a whole bunch of others who join. So yeah, it's a good time. We appreciate all of you, really. We really do. I know everybody says that, but we definitely, we like doing this. So
yes, we do. And on that note,
have a great rest of your Sunday, all. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.